Hey, how's it going? So today's chord pair is going to be F major 7 moving to A sharp minor major 7. So I'm going to describe what that is in just a second. The idea with this chart is to also display and discuss the idea of consonance and dissonance. Okay, so what I mean by that is consonance is basically a pleasant sounding chord. Everything kind of sounds harmonious and pretty. All right. Now the dissonance in this case is going to be the second chord right there. Not a very pleasant sounding chord, but a very necessary sounding chord because in music we have the idea of tension and resolution. Okay, so we get something that sounds pleasant along the way, and all of a sudden something comes in that's kind of jarring, which would be in this case that chord. This is the A sharp minor major 7 chord. Okay. So as we get into the chord chart, I'll show you all the different notes that spell out the chord. The idea is to get a very smooth change in any of these chord pair videos. That's the idea. And also the idea is to attain a chord form so you can actually move different sounds across the neck. So if you want to expand your chord vocabulary and progressions, if you're writing your own songs, so forth, having some chord forms gives you some really quick ways to kind of get different sounds into the mix if you are writing your own songs. Or if you hear a sound that sounds like something along these particular chord pairs, you can actually match to the recording and figure out what the chord is. So there's a lot of bonuses to doing this. The strum pattern in the chart is going to be very straight ahead. The right hand's going to be all down strums, which is not indicated in the chart. But we're going to use whole notes, we're going to use half notes, and quarter notes. There'll be 3 different rhythmic components to the chart. It's not very long. It's 8 bars with a first and second ending. And let's share the screen with you now so you get to see what it's all about. All right, make sure we got it here. Perfect. So chord pairs. So we have our 2 chords on top. And if I make this a little bit bigger, you can see that the actual shape of the chord is going to be identical between the pairings. So the thing that's going to be different, of course, is the sound and also the strings you play these chords on. So the highlighted note is where the root is. With the F major 7 chord, it's on the 6th string. Index finger, middle finger play in the 2nd fret. Ring finger, pinky play in, did I say the 2nd fret? The first finger and middle finger play in the 1st fret, excuse me, and the ring finger, pinky play within the 2nd fret. Spelling of the F major 7 is F, A, C, and E. So you can see by the diagram the order of the notes. Okay, and as you go into reading the notes, we read from the bottom up. So we go from the bottom string right on up to the top string. Okay, so you'll see that in the vertical stack in a second. So that's your F major 7, and moving into the A sharp minor major 7, the funky dissonant sounding chord. First finger, middle finger are still in 1st fret, different strings, of course. And you notice the strings that are muted here, the X's, you're going to have the first finger knocking out the 4th string in the F major 7 chord. The first finger was knocking out the 5th string. That's what the X came from in that particular chord diagram, plus the muted top E string, which we're not going to play. So the right hand simply skips over that string. Spelling of A sharp minor, is A, C sharp, E sharp. So A sharp, C sharp, E sharp, spell out A minor, just like A, C, and E spell out A minor. A, C sharp, E sharp, spell out A sharp minor. Now the major 7 chord comes from this funky note right here, G double sharp. Okay, if we were to go 1 fret higher, we would get the octave A sharp right in here. Okay, so we're not going to have that, of course, but the 7th of the chord is a half step away from the octave. That's why it's called major 7 in the bracket. The G sharp in this case is double sharp. G double sharp is the major 7 of the chord. Okay, so there it is right there. So the chord quality is minor. The 7th away from the A sharp is major 7. Okay, that's the idea behind the way the chord is named. So without further ado, let me play you the chart from the beginning. You can see the first and second endings. And without further ado, here is the sound of the chord chart. right, there you have it. So again, not the most pleasant sounding chord progression, but it's still an important part of music, is hearing the consonants and dissonance, in this case, rotating back and forth. All right. So a couple other things. That's going to be your chart, so you can play through it. I set it deliberately at a slower tempo, standard tuning, of course. And of course, your form is, the first ending for the first half of playing through the chart, and then of course ending on the very first chord that we started with, which is the F major 7. Okay, so there is the chart. I'll give you a couple other pointers as you go through with the chord playing. Is the right hand. We go as far as not playing the high E string, the top E string. Okay, so when you go through, we're not going to hop over the 5th string because it's already muted with the back side of the first finger. You hear that little thud right there. The back side of the first finger is knocking into that A string. So that allows your right hand to go across 5 strings. Both chords, we play 5 strings in total. Same thing with the A sharp minor major 7. You're not going to hear that note because the back side of the first finger, again, in this case on the A sharp minor, we're knocking into the D string. So the first finger is playing the A string. The back side of the first finger is knocking into the D string. So I'm not going to hear anything out of that tone. So we're playing 5 strings total on both chords. You know, again, the first finger is the thing that we utilize to knock out any string you don't want to use. In this case, with the F, we're knocking out the A string. With the A sharp, we're knocking out the D string. Okay, the technique is the same for both chords. We're just slightly arching the finger over. I should give you the other view here. So just a slight move over onto that string to knock that string out. Okay, so you get that thud. And when you play through the chord, you're not going to hear anything out of that string. But take your time as you go through these new chords, if they are new to you. I would suspect on the minor major 7 chord, that would be like a brand new type of chord. But perhaps both of them are brand new chords for you. Take your time, play through them real slow. Make sure each of the strings sounds clear. Make sure the muting technique, all the muting that you would need to play both of the chords, which is not a whole lot of muting, it's just the back side of the first finger knocking out the adjacent string from the low sounding note of the chord. Once that's all in play and everything's working proper, then approach the chart and have a good time with it. Okay? Again, with the right hand, all down strums, whole notes ring out for 4 counts, half notes ring out for 2 counts, quarter notes we play on every count. Okay, so it's all down strums going through the entire chart. That's why I didn't indicate any kind of right hand technique. Okay, all down strums. So on that note, no pun intended, that's your chord pairing for today. The chord pairing videos are going to increase over time to 3 chords and then 4 chords and then full-on chord progressions. But if you're trying to get your rhythm guitar playing technique down, chord pairs are a great way to go. 2 is a nice number. It's nice and manageable. So that's why I'm doing so many of these different chord pair videos, okay? Because it just kind of allows you to kind of take a small amount, get really comfortable with it, and then you can go back through the channel, check out some other chord pairs, put them together. You might find some song ideas out of those if you're writing your own music, or if you want more of a challenge to kind of include another chord into a chord pair video, you can do that, create your own chord charts. There's so many different ways to go to apply what you're learning from the channel into your own playing, okay? So hopefully that gives you some ideas as you go through the channel and check out more and more of these chord pair videos. And if you like this video, feel free to like, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And love to have you. I'm here to help, as I always try to say on these videos. And enjoy the chart, enjoy the consonants and dissonance of this particular pairing. I hope you find it useful, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for viewing. Take care. Bye.